morning, Mike Weiss, Brown County Commissioner. On behalf of an obviously well-engaged community, I want to thank all of the new and veteran legislators for your service and your willingness to share. Lots of important topics that you folks are working on, and we appreciate the opportunity for you to share with us and inform us about what you're working on and what you're working with on those. Brief point of privilege, I would just like to recognize that today's another great day in South Dakota as the commencement ceremonies for the USS South Dakota are taking place as we speak. That's a very wonderful day for us and a big milestone. Lots of important topics, but one I'd like a little bit more information on, and I'll start with Senator Wisber, since it's her taxation committee that has heard testimony already on it, take a brief action on it. It is a very complicated issue, and I appreciate that fact, but a little more information. And anyone else who'd like to touch on Senate Bill 4. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. I have not, for those of you who may not know, there has been a task force on ag land assessment that serves during the interim for 10 years now. Close to 10 years ago, we changed the way that we valued ag land. Before the change, we used a distorted type of market value based on sales, but because of some boxes we built, we couldn't use a lot of sales, and we didn't want to use all sales. So we switched to a production-based method, and we've been refining it ever since, and the valuations, we took several years to get the valuations phased in because in lots of cases the land valuations skyrocketed and they limited the increase every year. But the last time I looked, a lot of the phase-in work was done. However, this year, Dr. Matthew Elliott from South Dakota State University delivered a work product that he had been assigned and been working on for at least 2 years and maybe longer. I may have that fact incorrect. The product was a study of soil types, and he delivered it to the committee this summer, and there's lots of good information there. And the bill that the committee brought to, that the Ag Land Assessment Committee proposed for the legislature to look at was one that would use that new data and get rid of a lot of code about a lot of other factors that have historically been used in valuation. They were going to start using this new soil data. Well, practically speaking, the counties aren't prepared and don't have the resources, the GIS resources, to implement this new system. So in committee on whatever day it was, there was an amendment brought that struck what the original bill had been filed as and instead replaced it with a paragraph that said, we will just use this data for counties that volunteer to use it this year. So it's another type of phase-in. We did not take action on it. Some people, and like I said, I am playing catch-up, so maybe there may very well be some other factors that Senator Nostrup may want us to be aware of. But the one thing I found interesting, I think that some West River people, for several years as we've been phasing this in, and whether it's Brown County or West River, the non-cropland people are feeling like their land has been overvalued. And this data, I believe, and I guess I've seen it in print as well, this data is bearing out their contention. That yes, it does look like maybe they've gone a little high on West River, non-cropland in particular, and a little low on East River. So West River some West River representatives were a little bit put out with the fact that they were considering not implementing this new data and not using it immediately. But because of how complicated it is and the resources that it will take in the county assessor's office to use it, at the moment the thinking appears to be that it's going to be phased in only with counties that have the resources to use it effectively. Thank you.